Well, kia ora and welcome into the hardest half hour now, proudly brought to you by Airpark Canterbury and HRNZ Marketing. I'm Jess Smith, and this week on the show we chat to Southland trainer Steve Baucke following his win in the Uncut Gems with I'm All About the Base. Pukekohe trainer, owner and breeder Pam Turner joins us to talk about her recent win with Bit of a Tiger. And following the announcement that Lockburn will stand at his North Canterbury stud, we chat to Grant Beckett of Phoebe Standardbreds. Plus, we have our usual bookie update with Richard Wilson. But first, here are this week's headlines. Of course, the main headlines this week, the Uncut Gems. And the Uncut Gems took centre stage at Addington on Friday night, where the Mayor's Pacing edition was won by I'm All About the Base for Tim Williams and Steve Baucke. As mentioned, we'll chat to Steve very soon. You May Collect was green but still undeniable in the Gelding and Entars Pacing Uncut Gem, grinding up the passing lane to win by a nose for Kirsten Barclay and Tank Ellis. And Ruthless Kayla was successful in the Trotters Uncut Gem edition for Samantha Otley and Kevin Fairburn. One of the feel-good stories on Friday night was, of course, the win by I'm All About the Base in the Uncut Gems, and trainer, owner and co-breeder Steve Baucke joins me on the show. Steve, congratulations. Have you come back down from Cloud 9 yet?
Oh, yeah, no, we come back to it pretty quick. It was a great throw at the time, yeah.
I bet it made the trip home a lot easier.
Oh, for sure. No, we've come home there disappointed sometimes, but... it was a good trip coming home, that's for sure.
What were you thinking in the early stages, Steve, when Tim Williams was able to get her in that beautiful position back on the fence?
Oh, yeah, that was the part of getting her through back on the fence, and it was just luck that the lead horse, Cran's horse, kept it going, kept the speed up, and the through-line play never come round. And otherwise we could have quite easily been fired back the fence, and it would have been a different story.
Oh, exactly. And when you saw her poking up that passing lane, what was going through you?
Yeah, no, excitement started to come there when she was making ground and on everything else behind her, and getting away from them rather, and then when Tim pulled those blinds, she just really powered into it.
Yeah. Oh, it was fantastic to see too, and on social media, and I understand your phone was going crazy. The family and friends back in Southland must have been having a bit of a party in your honour.
Yeah, well, there was a few texts from friends and family from around the country, and they were all pretty excited. And also from other people that are in the game with us, kind of thing.
Yeah. And what's even better, Steve, is obviously that you bred and own this mare. Can you tell us how you came about being the breeder of her?
I bought the mare Ciel Dior at the mixed age sale in Auckland, and she was ready and foaled to Santana Blue Chip, which was sold at the yearling sales to Robbie Holmes. Mm-hmm. And then I bred Delight My Soul, which is a better like mare. We went to the sales with her, but we only didn't even get service fee for her, so we passed her and brought her home and raced her, and she did very well for us. Mm-hmm. And then bred her to Shadow Play and Ciel Dior, and we got the I'm All About the Base.
Oh, fantastic. And did you carry on breeding from the mare, or what's happened to her, Steve?
Well, we bred one more out of it. We bred her to Auckland Reactor, and we sold her at the mixed age sale.
Oh.
And then Kevin, I think it's Kevin Haycock bought her, and he got a colt foal out of her. But she's now been retired to a lady's is riding her as a hack. So.
Oh,
yeah.
That is fantastic. And I guess with that amount of fillies, you've got plenty to go on breeding-wise with.
Yeah, Delight My Soul, she's a foal to Sweet Lou, so should get a nice foal out of her from that mating.
Fabulous. Steve, how many horses have you got in work at the moment down there?
Well, it's just two at the moment. I've got two young ones that I'm breaking in and having another little prep, and we just had two maidens there that I've sold, and so we're getting a bit short again.
And I'm all about the base. Has she gone out for a bit of a break now?
Yeah, she'll have a month or 6 weeks off, and we'll bring her back in, probably at calving time.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. And have you got any goals in mind for her next season? You'll probably have a bit of fun over the summer.
Yeah, I think she should be better and being a 5-year-old and a bit more stronger. So, we should hopefully have another couple more wins in it kind of thing next season. There's some more mares races come up, so if she's going good, we'll put her in there and she can have a crack at them too.
Well, Steve, congratulations. As I say, everyone was so thrilled for you to get that win on Friday night. And, it looks like Southland, you guys overall are looking like you're going to have a great summer with some fantastic horses coming from down there.
Yeah, no, there's been a few nice horses come out to Southland this year, and some have been sold on to overseas. But, we're holding our own.
Exactly. Well, congratulations again. Well deserved, Steve.
Thank you very much, Jeff.
And in social media news this week, starting off with New Zealand, the Uncut Gem winners feature on our HRNZ social media, including a chat with Steve Baucke. That's on our Facebook page. And don't forget to check out the story on You May Collect, which featured on TV1 News. That's on our website on the homepage. From Australia, Emma Stewart and Clayton Tonkin's team are firing ahead of the Vic series. For the latest on that series, check out Aussie News on the HRNZ website or follow Adam Hamilton. And from the US and Canada, well, it was a massive weekend in Canada at Mohawk, and for sire Captain Treacherous, who sired North American Cup winner Captain Crunch, and also the Fan Hanover final winner Treacherous Rain, who was driven by Dexter Dunn. And Kiwi mare Shah Tin continued her winning way, winning The Roses Are Red, also on the card. You can find out more by following Standardbred Canada's Facebook page. Well, it's a pleasure to welcome onto the show this week, live from Noosa, of all places, Pam Turner. Pam, I understand that you're having a wonderful holiday and capping off a nice win too by Bit of a Tiger last week. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yes, we were very pleasing, and we were actually in Noosa then, and Ross Painter, we dropped the horse down to Ross a few days before, and Fergus Schumacher was driving it, or hopefully, because we nominated him for the boys' race, but it didn't get off the ground, but that didn't matter. They gave us a penalty-free one, which was super, and we were just thrilled for Fergus and Ross, and Fergus, we've known their family for years. Doreen was originally a Newbury, and we've known the Newburys for a long time, and it was just thrilled for Fergus and Ross and Lindsay's brother's over, and the chap that helps us out, Tony, it's just great to see everyone so happy, and yeah, all good. And I think they all backed him over there. Well, Lindsay's brother and Tony did anyway, so that was great,
Oh, a nice little cherry on top. Were you able to watch the race, or did you just catch up on the result later, Pam?
We went to a sports bar, and they had it to go, and then they stopped it for some other race that we'd never heard of.
Oh.
So then they switched back to a recording, but we only saw it with 200 metres to go, and I said, holy heck, Lindsay, he's in front. So it was like we started screaming at the pub, but we didn't need to scream for long because 6.5 lengths was a good effort. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Well, I guess it would take most of the nerves out of it because you didn't have to go through the whole race, you just got the good part.
Well, we did. We did watch it on the replay when we got back on the iPad, but it was super. And it was a super drive by Fergus as soon as they slackened the pace. Because, look, to be fair, Jess, he's been a really little dumb betters for so long. Great little horse. He's like a little F-boss. He gets you a check every week, but he just went there for a lovely night out. But now he's sort of like Morris won on him the week before and just, made him do it. And he actually worked super the day before we took him down to Ross's. He worked really good. So hopefully the pennies drop now and it'll carry on, So.
Exactly, and it's so nice to hear those stories too, because it just shows that a bit of perseverance gives people a bit of hope too to keep going with their horses.
Absolutely. I actually read an article on Tiger Tara, because he's a betters, and it was Jeff Dunn said, look, this horse, he was just a relaxed dude, and it took him 10 starts to win. I think it was 10 starts 10,000 on a race. So I thought, well, maybe there's a bit of hope for Tiger yet. Yeah, so...
Oh, great.
He always tries, and he's tough as old boots, so...
Yeah.
41 was a great run, Yeah,
definitely. Well, it would make the holiday even more enjoyable. And how many horses are you working at the moment, Pam, at home?
Well, he's the only one we're working at home.
Mm-hmm. Oh, great.
Tiger Swift's over at Telford, but I think she'll be home for a spell. She'll just have a couple of South Island trips, She's not very worldly, and she's just the opposite to Tiger. She sort of shivers and shakes and carries on a wee bit, so stresses. So we might just bring her home for a while and give her a bit of time out and put her on. Tiger loves her, so she can go on the lead behind Tiger for a while and start again there with her. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, fabulous. So is it more of a hobby, the training side of things, Pam?
It is really, yes it is, yes. We do we run a wholesale saddlery business too, and we've got 50 acres, and sort of everything keeps us busy, but, we love harness racing, we do a bit of breeding, we breed a few, and it's great to support the clubs through the ones too, because sometimes they can battle with fields, and I just think it's good for everybody, It's just great to see people put a smile on their face,
Yeah, definitely, and to be able to support someone and the young drivers like Fergus, it's really nice to be able to give back.
Yes, absolutely, because, we've got to try and get these young guys through, to be fair,
Yeah, definitely.
Because some of the better drivers are a bit in my position, just getting a little bit older.
Probably not enjoying the same calibre of holiday that you're having at the moment too, with prawns and beer.
We'll be back in the gumboots next week anyway, Jeff.
Good on you. And what's really heartwarming too, Pam, is to see that, all these years on, that Tigerish line is still doing you guys so well.
Oh, yes. It's just super, and it is just good. She was just such a lovely mare, Tigerish. And, she did such a great job for us.
Yeah. And just harking back to Tigerish, how did you end up owning her?
Well, to be fair, I don't know whether I should be saying this, but what actually happened, Lindsay worked for National Bloodstock, and we were involved in a syndicate, and they owed us money. And at that stage, they'd sort of gone belly up. So I made them give us a credit at the sale. Mm. And I think it was like a $10,000 credit, but there was only two horses that I really liked in the sale, and one was another good one that Anne and Steve bought. What was that horse, Lindsay? It went to open company too. But anyway, it bought $25,000, so I didn't do that. So ended up getting Tigerish for $2,000 on a credit. Mm.
This is a fantastic story, and the way she went on to win an Oaks Breeders' Stakes, and she won a Taylor Mile and ran third in a Derby. She was just so tough. And do you think that that's passed on? You're into the third generation now of her progeny?
Yeah. Like sometimes they miss a generation and whatever. But I think it does. I think it always does stand behind them. If you've got to buy out of a good mare, and that's your basic thing, I think going to nice stallions is good too, but I really do feel it's a maternal dam that will kick through and show light at the finish of the end of the tunnel,
Yeah. Has there been one horse out of one of her progeny or their progeny, Pam, that you've thought's been really special, one out of the box?
Well, probably her first foal was Tiger Tina. Mm-hmm. She ran second. She ran the Caduceus Club 2-year-old filly. She was 2-year-old filly of the year. She was always just a little bit itchy. We took her down to Massey and put the thing through her, the dye through her, and they sort of couldn't really find anything wrong with her as such. But anyway, then she went to Christchurch for the size stakes. She got beaten in those, but she was 3 wide all the way, and I reckon the fog was that bad. She couldn't see. We couldn't see the race anyway because of the fog, but I reckon the horse didn't see it either because the horse just came off her back and got her by her nose. But I think she was really special, but she actually got struck by lightning and was killed.
Are you really?
She was struck. We had a really bad storm one night, and it just picked her up, chucked her over the fence dead. Dead as Dodo.
Oh my goodness. Gee, nature can be so cruel, can't it?
It can be, and this speed, like I think our best two mares, our breeding mares now are probably That was Tiger Turner, sorry, I should say. That was Tiger Turner. This is Tiger... I'm getting mixed up myself. Tiger Turner we've got at home. That was Tiger Turner. And Tiger Share. She's a Christian Cullen mare. Look, I think Tiger Share had really quick speed as well, But she fractured a bone in her leg too, but
oh my goodness.
She really high speed. But, it's breeding. You just press on and hope for the best, eh? But, nice mares, so hopefully they keep on keeping on.
Well, they do, and it's been such, as I say, it's just so nice to see that from that foundation mare you've got this ongoing success, and that's reflected again by the win last week. So I take my hat off to you guys, and thank you for joining me on your holiday. I can let you get back to Noosa now and enjoying the scenery, and congratulations again.
Thank you very much, Jess.
Air Park Canterbury is Christchurch's only 24/7 privately owned off-site airport car parking. If you feel strongly about supporting privately owned business, support Air Park Canterbury. It's only a short drive to the airport in the Air Park Canterbury free shuttle. So if you want the cheapest parking option around, try Air Park Canterbury. Call 0800 Air Park or online at airparkcanterbury.co.nz.
There's always a park for me at Air Park Canterbury.
Well, some exciting news that came out for Standardbred breeders over the past week is the announcement that Lockerburn, although his racing career is over, he will stand at stud in North Canterbury with Phoebe Standardbreds. And joining me from Phoebe Standardbreds is Grant Beckett. Grant, congratulations on being able to secure this exciting pacing stallion.
Thank you, Jess. Yeah, a bit of a surprise to me, to be fair. I mean, many will know me as a trotting man, and that's certainly my passion as trotters, but we've been presented the opportunity to stand this guy, and it may just give us the chance to put a deal together with guys that have got a trotter and a pacer, and so that was the thoughts behind it when we were first approached by Kevin about standing him. So quite exciting.
Yeah, and it's really timely too to reflect on what a potent juvenile pacer he was, because he was plagued by injury in the latter part of his career, but he was brilliant when he was at his best.
He was, there's no doubt about that. I mean, you look at him winning 418,000, I think he won, and two close seconds in a listed sales series race and another big race up north, which whatever one that was, was it the Northern Derby? Yes, and the numbers could have been very different as far as the money goes, but he won something like 16 of his first 23 starts or thereabouts, and that's a strong crop with Tiger Tara and Sky Major and co. So, he was tough, and he's big, there's no doubt about that, but there's plenty of mares out there that will suit him, and you can't beat a big tough horse, I don't believe.
Oh, exactly. And it's so good too, because there is still a lot of hobby breeders or people looking for that market. Is he standing around $2,000, is that right?
It's standing at $2,000, yeah. We do 20% discount for two or more positive tests, and we also are doing a early bird special at $1,500 if you pay by the end of September. So he looks pretty good value at that, and we've got to keep those small-time breeders in our game, and that's what we're there for. We're there to give people genuine options at the bottom end of the market, and certainly what Imperial Count and Co.'s done so far, they're genuine options at fair prices. Yeah,
exactly. I wanted to chat to you about Imperial Count and Royal Aspirations, of course, the two trotting stallions you have there. Imperial Count's numbers are just phenomenal, aren't they?
Yes, they are, yeah. 10 mares first time round. One foal died as a yearling, so obviously 9 left, 6 have qualified, 4 winners, and I mean some pretty good winners in amongst that too, with Monaro Mia. Imperial Wiz has now won 86 or 87,000 in Australia. Phoebe Imperial made the jewels. Those three horses alone have raced at Group 1 level, and 9 foals, it's pretty impressive. Yeah. Also taking into account the quality of the mares that he got first up were, they weren't anything fancy, and moving forward, the quality that he's got is probably improving. Obviously, we still need numbers, but both Royal Aspirations and Imperial Count served a Group 1 winner each last year, so onwards and upwards, yeah.
Oh, very exciting too. And Grant, can you tell us how the stud came about, how the Standardbred side of it came about for you?
A 1 week correction, probably you're saying about North Canterbury. We're North Canterbury originally, but we're not North Canterbury anymore as such. I come from Cheviot, from 4 generations of family farming in Cheviot, stud stock sheep farming really, and we moved to Broadfield 3 years ago, just because we really had a wee special needs girl that had outgrown what Cheviot could offer us in the way of schooling, and the move was made. But we still have we're 40 odd acres down here now, and we still actually do have 150 acres in Cheviot, which I spend a bit of time on the road going back and forth to, as you can imagine. But originally, my grandfather's always had a mare on the farm, and that was probably, I remember being out in the paddock as a 3 and 4 year old with a mare and the foal and so on, and that was probably where my interest started. My wife will often tell a story about having a school teacher of mine that used to take us to the TAB at lunchtime and so on, as you did back in those days.
Yeah,
so the interest has always been there, and we had the opportunity to get back into a mare that traced back to my grandfather's breed. We bought Ashley Sunset originally off Frank Murphy, and that's sort of where it started as a hobby, and obviously growing from there. But the stallion side of it was sort of come out of the blue, to be fair. We just, something I had no experience whatsoever at, and we got a phone call from Jonathan McNeil at the time that he was leaving to go to Australia, asking whether we knew of anyone that wanted to stand a stallion, being Imperial Count, and he knew that we had a nice yearling, or 2-year-old it was at the time, by Imperial Count, Phoebe Imperial, that horse was. And I thought about it overnight, thinking, we might be able to work someone or find someone, but as the thought went into it, and decided that bugger it, we'll have a go ourselves, and so that's where it started. And we've learned a lot. We've had Richard Aubrey originally helping us collect, and between him and Becky Reid, my vet, I've learned a lot along the way, and we've had some good people helping us, and it's rolling along nicely now.
Oh, definitely, and it's just so good to see people that are passionate like yourself getting involved and having a crack at it. So, Grant, going forward for you as a stud owner and operator, what are your main goals in this industry? I'd like to just, as I say, that bottom end of the market and those guys that can't spend the money on the top end stallions, we're giving them an opportunity, and so I'd like to keep that there. Obviously, I think that probably when we've had 1 phone call or 2 phone calls come in offering us stallions, chances are in the years to come, once you've got a foot in the door, those phone calls will keep coming. So I enjoy doing it, and breeding a few of my own, obviously, and supporting my own horses at the moment. It's a bit of a change for me, because I always loved new sires and trying out new sires. When I first started out, we're breeding 8 mares, I think, of our own there. I was never frightened to have a go at the new ones, but you've now got to support these boys, and I'm excited by what they've got to offer. Oh, fabulous. And Grant, if anyone's wanting to find out more about Imperial Count, Royal Aspirations or Lockburn, what's the best way to get in contact?
Certainly by phone, my mobile number, 021 160 1080. We do have a Phoebe Standardbred Facebook page, which we try to keep a fair bit of information updated on there. And we've also just in the process of upgrading our website, which is under Phoebe Stud, actually. We've got the sheep stud and the horses on there. So, and if anyone's wanting to come and have a look, well, certainly Royal Aspirations and Imperial Count are both on farm at the moment. Lockburn we won't see till the middle of August, probably at this stage. We're leaving him in Amberley until then at his home, and then he can come down just prior to the season kicking off.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I know you're a busy man. You're on the hill working various amounts of stock. So, Grant, Beckett, thank you so much for your time, and all the best for the upcoming breeding season.
Thank you, Jess.
Airpark Canterbury is Christchurch's only 24/7 privately owned off-site airport car parking. If you feel strongly about supporting privately owned business, support Airpark Canterbury. It's only a short drive to the airport in the Airpark Canterbury free shuttle. So if you want the cheapest parking option around, try Airpark Canterbury. Call 0800 Airpark or online at airparkcanterbury.co.nz.
There's always a park for me at Airpark Canterbury.
Well, of course, as always at this stage of the podcast, we catch up with harness racing bookmaker Richard Wilson and go through the week that was. And Richard, heading back to last Thursday night, we were back at Forbury Park. And how did the punters fare there at Forbury on Thursday?
It was a fairly good night for them, Jess. Quite a few either favourite or second favourites got home there, and the punters were on to the ones that did win. There were 3 double-figure winners as well, though, and the best back winner of the night was April Rose. She opened $6, backed right into $4.20, charged home to score there. If there was 600 on at the 440, that was the best bet, but I can tell you there was plenty of bets around about the $300 mark at every price we put up, so April Rose was a bad result. Other nice collects, 1,000 on Cruiser at $2.70. There was 250 on one of those double-figure odds, Muscle Pat at 21, 250 on Honour the Bet at 750, and thankfully there was a couple of big misses there, 3,000 at 290, 2,000 at 280, and 4,700 at 270, all on Grace O'Malley, and there was 3,700 on Pizonte Cavallo at 320.
Okay, and on Friday night, of course, it was busy. We had a double header with Addington in Auckland, and of course Friday night headline act with the Uncut Gems. Yeah,
and a very good one for Southland. Jess, the 3 Uncut Gem races, 2 of them going south. $40,000 races don't come up very often down there, so very good for the guys down there to get 2 of them. Very nervous times. Anybody that was on You May Collect, he had to dig deep on the passing lane to get up, but he did that and kept the picket fence form line going, and I believe he's having a well-earned break now, so they're a bit of respite for me, really, to have 3 or 4 weeks off and regroup. He was opened at 140, backed into 130. There was 6,000 on at the 130, a couple of 3,000 early bets at the 140. So plenty of multis going on him as well. So yeah, very good win for the punters there. Would have been good for us if he'd got beat, but it's good to have a star on the rise as well. So plenty of interest in the spring now. Other big wins, $10,000 on Destiny Jones to run the top 3 at $1.60. There was 3,000 at $1.95 and 7,000 at $1.80 on Skippy's Delight. 6,000 Chloe's Joy at $1.85 and a $10,000 bet on Valoria to run the top 3 at $1.85. And again, thankfully, a couple of misses. 8,000 on Feel the Money to run the top 3, $1.85. 7,000 on Bazinga, also top 3, $1.70. 3,000 on Stun Gun to run the top 3 at $2.30. And 2,700 on Destiny Jones to win at $3.60.
And while it was quite slushy there at Addington on Friday night, looked like good conditions at Auckland, but was it a bit quieter on the punting front?
It was a bit quieter, Jess. Yeah, the main focus obviously at Addington. The best bets there at Auckland, 4,000 on Kenny Stream at $1.75 and 1,300 on Happy Place at $2.50. There was 1,000 on Budapest Boy at $2.40 and 800 on Gladimir at $3.30. There was a few big misses there. The biggest one, Perfect Stride, opened to $2.50 and did drift initially to $2.60, and he was out there most of the morning and early afternoon on Friday, but then he was heavily backed in late, closing at $2.30. There was 4,000 at $2.60, 2,000 at $2.50, and $1,000 bets at both $2.40 and $2.30. As well as a $5,000 top 3 bet at $1.35. So that made race 5 a pretty good one for us there. And also missing out $3,000 on Ere I Go at $2.40 and $1,500 bet on Budapest Boy at $9.
Okay, and on Sunday, of course, we headed down to Oamaru and a bet of the week there.
Yeah, this is the bet of the week. 5,300 on Go Davey at $3.30. It didn't win by much, but it was enough for that punter, I can tell you. Other winners were harder for the big punters to find, but a couple of top 3 bets did come in. $2,000 at $2.20 and $1,300 at $2 on Majestic Rose. There was $900 on DeVito at $2.50. $600 on Trickstar at $3.50. So again, as you might have noticed earlier on, a lot of big top 3 bets this week. Keeping us in the game, a few big misses: $3,700 at $2.30 and $5,000 at $2.20 on Rock and Roll Max. There was $3,000 on Breakout at $3.90, $4,000 on Speed at $2.20. $2,000 on Unico Legend at $2.30, and a late $5,000 on Classy Margaret at $7.
Okay, so keeping you guys afloat just there at Oamaru. And each week you find us a multi and some cash-out options. What have you found for us multi-wise this week, Richard?
Yeah, well, the multi of the week, I think this might be a Manawa 2 punter, shifting his focus down to Forbury, $10 3-leg multi, all House and Orange runners, Little Rain at 11, Honour the Bet at 8, and Anna Barclay at $5.50. So that $10 turned into $4,840.
Gee, that's nice work from $10. And in terms of the cash-outs, what did you find?
Yeah, interesting this week, not very many cash-outs to sort through. There was a very strange one, a $100 multi, Happy Place to run the top 3 at $2.50, into Brooks Koepka to win the Open Championship at $9. Now, that was set to return $2,250, but it's already been cashed out. It was cashed out before, just after Happy Place ran the top 3, or won the race actually, but cashed out for $184. Now, I'm wondering if the punter maybe thought that he had Koepka in the US Open, where Friday night he was slightly off the pace a bit, but he certainly charged home and finished second, and since then he's shortened into $8 for the championship, which is, of course, the UK, the British Open. So he's probably regretting the cash out now because he's looking pretty good, and we won't know till mid-July whether this one is a good one or a bad one.
Oh my gosh, they'll be smashing their head against a brick wall. Worst cash out of the week. That first one could almost qualify for that.
Well, it could, yeah. We might come back to that in July. But the worst one, $350 on Vladimir at $2.90. Would have returned $1,015, but for some reason cashed out for $332.50 before Vladimir won at Auckland on Friday night.
Okay, in the New Zealand Cup future markets, there's been a bit of news in the past week around that. Yeah,
unfortunately the favourite, Turn It Up, has come out of the market after the stable reported he's got some injury problems there, so he's also out of the Interdoms. Punters that are on, if some miracle does happen and he can start in either or both races, bets will stand. We'll put him back in, and early bets will of course stand. But at the moment we've taken him out, and it has meant everything is basically shortened up a bit. The horse everyone seems to want to get on, you may collect $7.
Okay, $7. So tab.co.nz to find those futures markets, and a busy-ish week for you ahead, Richard.
Not too bad, yeah. South Island gets a good crack this week. Forbury on Thursday, Marlborough along with Auckland on Friday, and then Marlborough again on Sunday featuring the Winter Cup. Okay,
and you're busy doing the dogs today?
I've got Addington dogs this afternoon, yeah, so a bit of a late finish for me.
We're going to have to start sorting out where you can work out a dog to multi up with horses each week, aren't we? You'll be starting to be an expert with that form.
No.
Okay, say no more. Richard, thank you so much as always.
Very good, Jess.
And coming up this week, a bit of a quieter week racing-wise, but starting off with Thursday night, we have Forbury Park in Dunedin. Friday, during the day, we've got day 1 of the Marlborough Winter Meeting in Blenheim, and then on Friday night, Alexandra Park, including potentially a Monty race there. And on Sunday, we've got Blenheim Day 2, which features the Marlborough Winter Cup as well. And that's it for this week's Harness Half Hour. Thanks to Airpark Canterbury and HRNZ Marketing. Don't forget you can get the Harness Half Hour podcast on the HRNZ website, through our Facebook page, on the Punters Lounge at tab.co.nz, through Spotify and iTunes.